When I started out in my first IT job, I met a guy, let's call him Bob. Bob knew everything. If you wanted to know how our 30-year-old billing system worked, you called Bob. Network down? Bob could get you running again. Where the stash of the good coffee was kept? See Bob. And then, not 1 month into my employment, Bob sent out a company-wide email informing us of his imminent retirement. And no joke, this caused management some major worries, and Bob spent his last few weeks furiously documenting everything he knew. This is an example of a lack of recorded enterprise knowledge. What we needed all along was a proper knowledge management system. Now, knowledge management helps to not only create organizational memory, but also aids operational efficiencies, increase collaboration, and identification of skill gaps. Let's take a look. So, knowledge management is the process of identifying, organizing, storing, and disseminating information within an organization. When knowledge is not easily accessible, it can be incredibly costly to a business. So, where should this knowledge be harvested and stored? Well, in something called a KMS, or Knowledge Management System. In order to achieve this, businesses need to implement a system for capturing, storing, and disseminating information through the company. An effective knowledge management system typically goes through 3 main stages. So let's take a look at those. So knowledge, and then stage 1 is really the knowledge creation. So knowledge creation is where organizations identify and document any existing or new knowledge that they want to circulate across the company. Figure out what it is we need to store. Speaking of that, stage 2 is knowledge storage. And this is the stage that describes where an IT system is used to host organizational knowledge for distribution. Information may need to be formatted in a particular way to meet the requirements of that repository. And then number 3, we have knowledge sharing. This is the final stage in which processes to share the knowledge are communicated broadly across the organization. There are many reasons to embrace a knowledge management strategy, like, for example, identification of skill gaps. When teams create relevant documentation around implicit or around tactic knowledge, or consolidate explicit knowledge, it can highlight gaps in core competencies across teams. Great information to use when building a training plan or figuring out hiring new resources. Now, knowledge management can also aid in data security. In this case, knowledge management systems enable organizations to customize permissions control or viewership control and the level of document security to ensure that information is shared only in the correct channels or with selected individuals. And if employees know that a knowledge management system is a go-to place to find relevant information, this will also lead to operational efficiencies from faster decision-making and improved productivity. Knowledge management systems can be created by skilled employees and harvested through natural language processing of existing document sources. And when employees are armed with the right tools and strategies, knowledge management practices make it easier to onboard new employees, assist a more productive workforce who know where to look for the answers, and enable customer self-service support portals. Because, well, without one, we're exposed to the risk of losing institutional knowledge when employees are no longer around for us to ask. And look, I know this is a long shot, but Bob, if you are watching, just where did you hide away the good coffee pods?